Another sign that you can be aware to is when you feel really unmotivated to do things that you normally enjoy. Hello everyone and welcome back to this new episode of Imparables. My name is Jose Miguel Taramona. I'm director of Ludus Mastery, and today we will be talking about something that is happening a lot now with people, which is overwhelm. So you gotta check out when you are in a burnout state, or what's going on when you are in a burnout, when you are overwhelmed. What are the signs and how you can overcome those signs and what to do when this happens. So stay tuned. So please don't forget to subscribe. Check us out in all our platforms. Put thumbs up if you like it. Let's start. Okay, so overwhelm. What is overwhelm and what's the difference being stressed and being overwhelmed? And how can we identify those signs? And many times we don't know. And many times this causes a serious consequences that goes in your work performance and with your team. So if you're a business owner, you are an entrepreneur, or if you simply are a leader, you have to be really, really careful with all these signs. So what is overwhelm? Overwhelm is when you realize that your performance that you are normally used to effect or work on is declining. Okay, many times you don't realize and people around you realize it. So it's some signs that you have to be aware when this happen. Okay, because overwhelm, the overwhelm is a lot of information in your head trying to process at the same time. If you mix that with stress, everything goes down. So we'll talk about these signs. One of the signs that I've been seeing in many people is when they are overwhelmed, is you're really easily irritated, right? It's one sign that you see in people that is really, really overwhelmed, right? At the point they almost burn out. It is a health factor. I want you to understand that you're compromising your health if you're overwhelmed and you don't recognize and you keep going. Right? Everything transformed, your blood pressure transformed, your stress level transformed, your heart rate increases, right? How you eat affects it. Another sign that you can be aware to is when you feel really unmotivated to do things that you normally enjoy. Like in these periods when you have a lot of stress and you have a lot of information coming, a lot of projects going on, right? You get to the point that you go to work and day by day you keep hitting these stress levels, and you realize that you feel unmotivated. The music that you like, you don't want to listen to it anymore at work, or the food that you like, you don't want to eat it. Or if you like to go to your son to see their baseball game or their soccer game, right? The same thing happens. You start feeling unmotivated, you start going to your phone, you start occurring in these things. So be aware of easily irritated. Be aware if you unmotivated or really unwanted, or the things that you normally enjoy. Another sign that is really common is when you start crying unexpectedly or feel really, really emotional. That patience thermometer, right, start like rising up really, really, really fast. And it's something that you have to realize because you consume a lot of energy. And then if you're a business owner, you have to focus your energy on the things that actually matters, not only for you, but for your team and for your business. So if you start crying for anything, and not only at work, I want you to understand that the overwhelm is show or demonstrate in every aspect of your life, with your partner, with your kids, with your family, with your friends. So these signs are there, and you cannot see it. Ask somebody that you trust, hey, I feel like this. What do you think about this? Really common sign, anxiety. You get anxiety attacks or panic attacks, right? Remember that it's overflowing of information. It's overflowing of blood in your brain, and that could cause a lot of anxiety. If your anxiety attacks start getting more often, faster, easier to get there, it's probably a sign that you are overwhelmed. One more sign is that probably you start feeling pains in your body, like unexpected pains or discomfort in your body. You just don't feel well, or you feel sick, and you start thinking, oh, maybe I'm sick. Oh, I don't know what's happening with me. And you start going to the doctor, and the doctor say, hey, you don't have anything. You might be having overwhelm. Remember, overwhelm is emotionally and it's mentally. And the last one, the most important is when you start feeling disconnected. When you like to do things and you feel disconnected from the world, disconnected from what you're doing, or disconnected from your purpose, right? And you think probably, oh my God, I'm getting depressed, or I'm probably sad all the time, or I'm crying all the time. I have negative thoughts all the time. Maybe it's just a sign that you are overwhelmed. So I have many friends that sometimes come, and then you see them and they feel that they are depressed, or they feel that it's something going on with them, and maybe it's just that you are overwhelmed. So check for these signs. Really, if you're easily irritating yourself, if you not feeling well, you're feeling unmotivated, you're feeling disconnected, if you're feeling strange pains, or you feel sick, maybe these are signs or depression of something more, but only is overwhelmed for the amount of information that your brain is bringing all the time when you're at work or when you are with your family. What are the causes of overwhelm, right? The most common cause of overwhelm is work related. And it's work related, it relates when we don't know how to deal with the stress. And then we have talked in other episodes about stress, but if you're feeling stressed, the best thing to do is just start breathing. It's overload of also projects, work, maybe family conflicts. It causes a lot of overwhelm. Maybe a disconnection with your partner, maybe problems or issues or challenges with your kids. All these cause overwhelm. You put on top of that you are a person that you give to a lot to other people, right? And you always giving. It's really important to check how are you giving to yourself. Now, it doesn't mean that overwhelm doesn't happen to certain people and not to other people. Like, I believe overwhelm happened to everybody at one point. Many people think it's because of the career that you choose. I think it's how you handle pressure in the career that you choose, right? Everybody in their own world have their own worries, have their own concerns, but most important, we all have the ability to be aware and present if these signs are happening. Okay, so sometimes you think, we start comparing, right? Because I do this or because I do that, my work is more important. And then the conflict in our families or our partners start. Remember that overwhelm could come for just being a single mother or a housewife, right? All the way to being a CEO of a multi-international company. So be aware that overwhelm happens to everybody in the level that we are. Okay, so it's more important to know what can you do to overwhelm, and what do you do to overwhelm, or what do you do with overwhelm. The most important thing to overwhelm is to look after yourself, to have a self-care routine, to disconnect, to take vacations, to do something that you really enjoy without being in the place or being in situations that actually cause you more overwhelm, right? A couple of years ago, probably, I was really overwhelmed, but I didn't realize I was overwhelmed. And I went with my partner, we went with a group of people. And with that group of people, one Sunday, with that group of people, my cell phone was not working. So suddenly I completely disconnect. And it was a Sunday for 2 or 3 hours. And when I came back from that meeting, right, with friends, we were having a barbecue, I can completely recharge. So the point here is recharge yourself, give to yourself, fill up your cup. You cannot give to others if you don't give to yourself. And if you are a CEO of a company, if you are an entrepreneur, you are a business owner, you own a restaurant, if you own a customer service business, if you own a construction company, whatever, you are a business owner, this for business owner or leaders, you always giving. And that takes a lot of energy from you. So recharge, give to yourself. It's a saying that you know perfectly, probably you have here, is you cannot give from an empty cup. So you gotta fill your cup, and you gotta find the things that actually make your cup full, right? What are those? Maybe spending time with your kids, maybe doing a sport, maybe walking in the beach, whatever it is. But you have to have, and you must have that time for you. It's not being selfish, because many times when we don't work, when you are a high achiever, you feel guilty, right? So what I'm trying to tell you is, to you give to yourself is nothing to feel guilty about, because you won't be able to perform or to give to others if this is empty. Find the things that recharge you. Find the things that give back that energy to you, new energy to keep going. So make a list, man. When you finish watching this podcast, just make a list of the 5 things that fill up your cup. The 5 things that make you feel joy. What does make you feel joy? And do it. Take time for that. Maybe it's a weekend with your partner. Maybe it's a romantic dinner. Or maybe it's just simply being in your house with your kids. But do it. Disconnect from everything, and you'll see Overwhelm will start coming down, and you will be able to control it. Like, to me, it comes to every 3 months I do a trip, right? And the trip I do things that I like to do, and I disconnect. But that is me. But I take that time for that. I understand what my times are and when I start getting burnout. And then when I have to step aside. In order to be a good leader, you have to take care of yourself. So remember, all of you over there, just find that time for you. Write down the 5 things that make you joy and practice it. Take actions. And if you have to go to a professional for that, maybe a personal trainer, maybe a therapist or whatever, just do it. But nobody's gonna do it with you. For you, you have to start at one point. I hope this episode of Imparables has been very, very helpful. I hope this episode gives you a lot of value. And if you like it, please don't forget to subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and see you in the next episode of Imparables.